everybody, it's the Cryptid Huntress. I'm Jessica Jones. Thank you guys so much for being here tonight. We are going on the hunt and we're going to have a really good time. So you guys go get your popcorn, get ready to go down another rabbit hole tonight. And yes, I am back. I'm live. I went to the Full Disclosure Now conference down in Florida, and we had the best time. It was the best conference. It was so much fun. And I met some fantastic people. And I made some really good connections, y'all. We're going to be doing some super collaborations coming up. I have a few pictures if y'all want to see them. I don't know, maybe we can just kind of whiz through here because you guys will recognize a lot of these people that I've had on my shows. I had Sherry Divban there, and of course Chastity. Chastity is usually in our chats. I hope she's here tonight. And so it was really fun hanging out with them. And we had, here's the crowd. This is a far shot. And there's Piper in there. You might know Piper. We had Jennifer Patterson there. Jennifer's in our chats quite often. And also, let's see, there's Amy. So I got to meet Amy. Okay, so you guys, I met most of these people for the very first time ever. Amy's one of my moderators here on the channel too. So thank you for being here, Amy. I'm pretty sure you're in the chat tonight. Y'all know Arkeem. Arkeem's been on my show. That is his brand new book in his bag right there. I've got a copy right here in the studio tonight. And I can't leave out Maureen. Maureen, the girl in her gong. Maureen's one of our moderators here as well. And we had a really fun time there together. And also Anne-Marie, she's been on Spaced Out Radio with me. And here's another group shot. If you guys hadn't seen us already. And my goodness, you guys, I got to meet Laura Eisenhower. And so we are going to definitely be working on some collaborations in the future. And also, you guys know Brian Singh as well. He's not wearing a crown. That's a balloon on his head. Okay. But Brian has been on my show several times. I've taken several trips with him up to Montauk. And yeah, all over the place. We're having a really good time. He was the one that threw the actual conference. He was the conference organizer and did a great job there. Okay, so I'm back. I'm home. I'm worn out. Okay, and also I want to thank Maureen and Gus for my earrings. Okay, too. I got some glow-in-the-dark alien earrings while I was down here. Okay, so but yeah, wonderful conference. You guys, please go to conferences if you can, and meet people face to face. There's Amy. Hey, Amy. Because it's so important that we go out. We actually, it's like we activate each other. Okay, like I'm not just saying that sounds kind of weird, right? But I do believe that we do activate each other when we get into places like this together, and we fellowship and have a really good time together. So thank you, Amy, for being here. Okay, Amy is one of the moderators as well. Okay, well, y'all, we have a really fantastic show. I have Geryl and Jane Fountain here of Midwest Night Watchers and Chiro Sounds. And we're going to be talking about old world maps, like old ancient maps, actually, and all the creatures and critters that are on there that are not supposed to exist. Okay. But I think they do, because they do include Bigfoot, dog-headed men. We're going to be talking about unicorns tonight and dragons. Okay, the dragons are awakening, I think. Okay, I think the dragons are awakening. We may have dragons alive and well today. Okay, so we're going to talk about that. Boy, we have a lot to talk about. All right, so, if you guys would like to support all my work over here, y'all please become a member of my Patreon. And that's the Cryptid Huntress on Patreon. And you can become a channel member here as well on the channel. Just hit that join button on YouTube. And I also have an Etsy shop that's called War Woman Goods. You get free merch with purchase. With every purchase that goes out, I do send you a little something. Okay, that says the Cryptid Huntress on it. Okay, all right, well, let's get to our show tonight, shall we? Okay, so we are going to be looking at creatures shown in old world maps, which they're usually the creatures of legend and lore, like mermaids, unicorns, dragons, giants, and reptilians. Now, did these things actually exist at some point? I think that my crowd's going to say yeah. My crowd's going to say yeah. So I have Geryl and Jane here. Midwest Night Watchers started as a love for the outdoors and stargazing while enjoying a backyard fire pit. Geryl and Jane began filming strange activity and anomalies in the night sky. They created their YouTube channel and Facebook group to share their findings with friends and family. which grew into their podcast, Piercing the Veil. And they have multiple shows throughout the week. So please go and subscribe over to Midwest Night Watchers and help me welcome to the show tonight my good friends, Geryl and Jane. Hey,
Hi, Jessica.
Hi, Jessica.
Hey, thank you for being here.
Oh, thanks for having us.
Thank you for asking.
Well, of course, and anytime we get to talk about, especially old world creatures, like unicorns. I mean, we've done a couple of shows on these, I think.
Yeah.
We're going to get a little more in depth. If I can say that word tonight. Because Geryl, you actually sent me a really cool map that I was not real familiar with. So do you want to tell us about that a little bit?
Yeah, it's the Urbano Monte's map. He's from Italy, and he was born into a wealthy family, and so he did not have to work. So his main interest was geography and sailing and all that stuff and exploring. So he lived, in the time, this map was made in 1587. So he lived right when all the other explorers were going out. You got Ferdinand Magellan, south tip of Africa in 1520, and the very first official envoy to Europe from Japan was at that time also. So he was able to have their data and what was going on in their world over there, and talking about dragons and all this stuff. So he was right there at the middle when all these explorers were going out and mapping all these areas, and he put them all together or made his own map out of it. And of course, he depicted animals that we might know, then mythical ones that we think are mythical, but like you said, did they really exist at the time?
Yeah. Well, I think that they probably did, because throughout history, people didn't have the internet, or TV. I don't know. You know what? Now I'm wondering, what if they did? And we just been lied to. Okay. Yeah. Because I just feel like everything that we've been told, it's like everything was so primitive back then. But how were they able to get maps of all of this and exactly pinpoint exactly how big land masses were and stuff? I don't know. I just think that they were way more advanced than they're given credit for.
Well, like the last map that we did, that Comfort Monday map, it had depictions of hairy man or Bigfoot. It had dog man on there. So I mean, we know in our culture and our investigations that those are real things. So why wouldn't the other ones be real on those maps?
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Well, okay, at some point about a year ago, I think it was a little over a year ago, we did a show that has become one of my most controversial shows that I have ever done on my channel, because we talk about the flat earth theory. Okay. And I try to stay away from that topic because it's so divisive. Right. And people are so I want to say passionate about either way. And I stated we really didn't give an idea of exactly which way we lean too much, but I've always been a globe kind of a girl. Okay, a globe thinker. I think on terms of it being a sphere. Remote viewers that I work with have said they've remote viewed it, and it's actually a ball, it's a round globe. Okay, but who's to say? And a lot of people say, well, ultimately it doesn't really matter whether it's flat or round. Okay, I mean, we could live in a simulation for all I know. But however, so we're putting all these social media posts up, and people still to this day still argue on that post on Instagram about flat Earth. They're still arguing with each other.
I believe we live on a globe too. I mean, that's how I grew up. That's how I was taught, and my parents and everybody believed that. But I really like the flat earth. I like digging down that rabbit hole. Some of it does make sense to me. So I'm kind of wishy-washy in some areas on it, but I do believe we're on a globe. And just for your audience, this old map is flat, and that's how they portrayed it back when it was made, that the earth was flat. So you can take that however you want. We're not telling you to believe that way. We're just presenting what we see and what I read on it.
Oh yeah. Well, okay, so this map, this is over 430 years old. It's almost 450 years old. And when it was made, this thing actually, when it was laid out, it was 10 feet long with all the different pieces to it. Okay. And he made every piece individually. And some people say, well, it was actually made to be round, to be put on like a globe or a circular sphere. Okay. And but he had to, draw it like this. But he didn't mean for it to be a flat earth type of a map. But it's really interesting if you look around the edges of it and you see, I guess that's supposed to be Antarctica all around the edges of it, right?
And just like our very first show on flat earth, if you look down there at the bottom lower left, that is South America touching Antarctica.
Huh. Okay. Wow. Very interesting. Well, I actually was just watching a video that came out today, and because I've been really big into dragons. Okay, ever since I went to Alabama on that dogman hunt a couple of weeks ago, and we encountered a man saying that there was a petrified dragon in the woods. And so we went and he showed it to us. We hiked in, and sure enough, it looked just like a dragon, a dragon's wing and everything. It was huge. But I was just watching some videos on YouTube, actually, where they're talking about dragons being in the ocean and coming alive.
Oh, wow.
And this is actually in between. Okay, so this is the tip of South America and then Antarctica right there.
Right.
And some people claim that this is an actual dragon's head. Now, I don't know. That's got to be a gigantic dragon.
Some people say it's a snake head, but I mean, it could be a reptile, or it could be a dragon's head. But that's the exact section that I was just telling you about on that map where the two continents are linked together. But then that serpent head split them for some reason.
Yeah. That's what made me think of that, Geryl. Was the dragon was right there where they touch almost, but they don't actually touch in this picture right here. But back then they did, I guess. Okay, so.
And if you look at that pictures, if you look at the continents, people are saying those are the wings of the dragon.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well that's interesting too, because I was also looking into Turtle Island. Okay, and things not being what we've been told, and looking at things from a different perspective. Okay, and I think it's so cool to look at things from a bigger perspective. And what if North America, it's shaped like a turtle? Okay, and a lot of the indigenous people would say that this is a turtle. Okay, now it's shaped like a turtle. Does that mean that it was a gigantic turtle at some point? I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know.
Before the show started, I was telling you that we could possibly do a part 3 because there's another map that is from Iceland, and it's actually called the Map of Monsters. And it has a beast on there that is a turtle-shaped sea monster that is as large as an island.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. I mean, anything is possible at this point, for sure. I mean, we just open up our minds, and even with the dragon stuff, it sounds far-fetched. It sounded far-fetched to me when I first started hearing people talking about land masses being dragons. But now I've seen one myself, potentially, and I think it could be. Now, it wasn't nearly as big as like a gigantic, like a mountain range, but it was on the side. Its body was a hill, okay, like a whole side of a hill or a small like mountainside. Okay, but now we're looking at like the petrified giants. So it's not just like the mountains. It's like they are land masses now, and they could be petrified giants. And could it be pareidolia for some cases? But
could be.
Yeah.
Now, have you ever watched the Game of Thrones?
Yes.
Okay, well they got the new series, Mother of Dragons. They got the Tartarian, whatever. I can't remember their last name, but something like that. But the dragon that she rode, the name was Yarn.
Yeah.
But that supposedly, that dragon that we were just pointing out between Antarctica and South America, that is supposedly that dragon, and that's the wings that go out and it touches our fault lines in the U.S.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Ooh, well, here's a connection then, because I've been seeing videos of a fault line opening up out west.
Oh.
Yeah. What if? What
Yeah.
if the dragons are waking up and they're going to cause a division in our Earth, like a landmass?
What if it's waking up or coming back and it's starting to shake its wings a little bit? That's what's causing the fault lines.
Well, I've heard the giants are waking up. I heard that a few years ago.
Well, I just covered that in a show with Brian Singh. Actually, we talked about giants in stasis, and I had been given a target of what people believe to be Gilgamesh, okay, in a stasis chamber. Okay, and so and we've really talked. I even talked about it briefly at my presentation down in Florida this week, where the giants and all of the giants that are waking up right now. It's almost like people are saying they're waking up. Does that include giant dragons? Giant land dragons that are land masses? You know?
I think they're all going to wake up.
Yeah. Well, I think humanity's waking up, and we're here to help. Okay, and to think outside the box. I mean, we're not saying either way tonight. So I want the audience to be clear. We're not saying that we believe in flat Earth or whatever, or we might. Okay, and here's the thing: like I will gladly change my mind one day, okay, if I am shown something that changes my mind. So I am so open to the possibilities.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead. I was going to say probably all three of us are.
we had talked before, and you'd brought up that Himalayan salt was actually the blood of giants or possibly even dragons. Well, I watched a gal that does dowsing rods, and she asked her higher conscious or her spirit's guides questions what using the dowsing rods, and one of them was, is giants' bodies Himalayan salt? And they answered yes.
Yeah, really?
Oh wow.
Yeah, I think it could be. It's nice and tasty. Okay, it tastes like bacon. So. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. You know, I wanted to go back to this too. This question, Sovereign Cosmic Wildman said, "How did they get that view of the turtle, a UFO?" Yeah, how would the indigenous people who lived here on the North American continent, how would they know that it looked like a turtle centuries ago? How? That's my question. It's like, well, I mean, what do y'all think?
Well, I know like the Vikings sailed over to North America, and we've had explorers. Now, the Native Americans that were originally here, maybe they asked their spirit guides or their forefathers, through their celebrations, and maybe that's what was passed down to them. But the explorers all talked about sea monsters, and they have it in their journals. And so I would assume that turtle, which is known on the sea monster map that we're talking about, it was known to be big enough with its fins to flip ships and vessels over. So they would know about it for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. Okay. Well, Re-indigenizing Mind says there's a dragon in the Appalachian and Mississippi River area. And yeah, somebody had just posted that my lunch break, I think, is the YouTube channel. That's one of them that I watched today. That's what I watched. And he's done a lot of research on these dragons. So you guys go to that YouTube channel. I want to give him credit for that. And let me see if I can find it again. My lunch break. There we go. My lunch break. That was it. Go to this channel if you want to look into the dragons here. He showed 3 dragons, I believe, that look like just land masses. And they're huge. They're like the whole size of America, basically. So super, super interesting stuff. But okay, so let's talk about this map. Okay, and all these different cryptids that we have on there. And I say cryptids, but back then they were just probably just normal everyday creatures that lived around, like Cyclops. Okay, Cyclops was one of them. They had unicorns on this map. They had, what else they have? I don't remember seeing a blimmy. Oh, mermaids. Okay, how about we just start showing some pictures?
Yeah.
Of the map, and we'll go down one at a time. Okay, so this is actually the full map, and this was made in 1587. Okay, if anybody wants to do any kind of research on this, it's called the Monte'S 10-foot Planisphere of 1587. Okay, and so if you look closely, you can see the creatures.
Map is actually 10 by 10. So
10
it's a
feet?
huge map. It's one of the world's largest maps at the time.
Wow. Okay, so 10 by 10. And now these are just little blurbs on it, right? Little excerpts from.
Yep, those are just cropped images off of that map.
Okay, well, first of all, this is really interesting because I'm not sure if they drew these creatures to scale. Okay, I'm not sure if they did or not, because they show them next to some of these boats. Okay, now this is the interesting one because it looks like a dragon. That one looks like it has a harness on it, though, Geryl.
Oh, somebody was riding it.
Yeah, it does.
Almost like what we were talking about the Game of Thrones when they were riding dragons.
That's right. And I just did a show on dragons with Dennis a couple of weeks ago, and we talked about the worm type of dragon. Okay, it's like a worm, but they're aquatic, I believe. Okay, so that could be what this is, but it looks like it might be tamed if it has a bridle on.
Right.
I think that's what you call it. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, super interesting. And that must be a big ship beside it. So that's one interesting aspect of this map. And there are multiple what look like are dragons. Okay, now what is this?
That's actually a Pfister, which is on that other map that we were talking about, and it's also on this map. And out of those two spouts off its head, it puts out so much water that in one blow it could fill up a whole ship of water and sink it.
Oh my gosh!
Wow! Is that a different creature, or could that have been a whale? Could it be mistaken for a whale?
It could have been. I mean, a whale has a blowhole, and they put water out. But this has two, and it looks like they're actual tubes coming out. So I don't know if you would mistake a whale for that, or they just added to it to make it more artistic, or what. But
wow, yeah. Well, it's still interesting, super interesting, and so. All right, well, Amy says soft disclosure on ancient maps. Yeah, I'm all about the disclosure of our hidden history, of cryptids, everything that's been hidden from us. I do feel like there's so much being revealed right now. And to the normal, everyday, average person, it sounds like we're all crazy talking about this stuff. But I don't think we're so crazy when it comes to, looking into these things, because I know that these maps have been around for a long time, but everybody kind of took it like tongue in cheek, kind of like, oh, it's got mermaids. Those are just old sailors' tales. That's not true. They're just mermaids. What do y'all think has changed, though? Do you think it's just the veil has thinned, or what?
I think so. I think that we've lost this knowledge, or it's hidden away and everybody just kind of forgets about it till somebody brings it back. That map we just showed wasn't put together, until like 2017, where they digitized it and actually made a whole map of it. Because it was in 60 pieces to make that map. And they were all in those great big giant huge books that we see, where they say they're giant books. Literally giant books. That's what that was. And those tiles, 60 of them that made that map, was actually in those big books.
Oh, that's interesting.
Wow, that is something I did not know that. Whoa. Yeah, because I've been seeing pictures of those big books. It's like they came from Tartaria or something.
Yeah.
Like the giants were reading those and writing them. I wonder if the giants made these. I wonder if the guy who made this map was a giant.
I don't know.
If it was written in a giant book, why wouldn't he be? I don't know. Just putting it out there. I'm just putting it out there. And Abbott says the controllers are probably going to release those giant Nephilim on us. Gosh, I hope not. I hope not. So, but that's kind of the feeling that some people have, is like, well, with the giants that we've looked into, like the giant of Kandahar And it seems as though they were taking a sample and even keeping these giants in stasis chambers. What is the real purpose behind it? And why would they want them to come out now?
Right.
So, okay, well, let's go to the next picture here. I can't tell what this is. Geryl, do you know what that is?
No, I'm assuming that's like a sailfish or another sea serpent, but the one to the left of it is the one when you zoom in on it. If anybody goes and looks at that map and you zoom on it, it looks like a sea serpent with a boar's head. I mean, it has fangs and tusks coming out.
Oh,
it has razors on its neck all the way through its back.
Oh, very cool.
Oh, wow.
So something dangerous, something kind of dangerous that might hurt you.
Something that we would see on land that we'd recognize as a boar or a wild pig or something like that. You know, obviously huge, but it doesn't belong in water. But this is depicted as being in water as a sea monster.
Wow. You know, they say that there's only a tiny percentage of the ocean that's been explored, and we only know a tiny bit of what's in there. But, you know, I wonder if they knew more back then than we know now. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe
they probably did. We've been so dumbed down so much. They probably did know a lot more back then.
I agree with you, Jane. 100%. I do agree with that. Okay, let's see the next one right here. This is another little piece here of this map. I mean, that looks like it could have been another dragon potentially, or even something like the Loch Ness Monster. Like a plesiosaurus or a plesiosaur, potentially.
And it's exactly almost like that other image where you got that other dog head or dragon looking thing off to the side there. And, you know, I wish they would have had the whole body instead of just the head. But, you know, just like we think of Loch Ness, you know, that you only see the head a lot of times, or maybe some humps.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, it could have been potentially because whoever encountered these beasts only saw them from when they took their head out of the water. Right. So they didn't know what it looked like on the bottom, just on the top, however it emerged from the water. So I don't know. It's all, what do we call that? Food for thought, right? Food for thought.
Yep.
Okay. Let's see. Let's get another one here. I'm going to take these down. All right. Yeah, there's something really odd. Okay, some of these things actually look like chimeras. Okay, it's like almost like a bird that has a skull for a head, or some kind of humanoid face.
Right.
Weird stuff. It could just be symbolic, don't you think?
Could be. I mean, absolutely. It could be artistic rendition. Like I said, they could have took, you know, leniency with it and drew it any way they want to make their book looks nice or mystical or mythical. But to me, when I brought that up, I zoomed it in and it kind of looked like a lion's head to me, but I don't know.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, it does kind of look like a lion.
It does. And there's a whole lot of ships there. Okay, so back in the 1500s, I would assume there's a whole lot of ship sailing and conquering of lands, and the Vikings were all over the place, like you said, Geryl. But there was a lot of exploring going on.
Right.
And so it's pretty interesting that there was such a detailed map of the entire globe, or Earth, flat Earth, whatever you want. If you believe in the globe or you believe in flat Earth, okay? Because I bet you anything, the audience is pretty divided.
It seems to be a pretty polar audience where either you believe it's flat or you believe it's round. There's no middle ground except for people like us that can kind of see both, or just like, I mean, like I said, I believe that the Earth is a sphere, but at the same time, I'm intrigued and I like this stuff. And and a part of me wishes that I hope it is true. I hope there was these things, because that's just fascinating to me.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we've got some good friends up here in the chat today too. We got, hey, Tony. We have Renee in here too. Let's see. I saw Williams in here too. Renee says, this sea pig, which was compared to heretics and distorted truth and lived like swine, lived in the North Sea on Olaus Magnus's 1539 Carta Marina, from an illustrated map that inspired many after it. Ooh, a sea pig. That's cool.
And that's the map I'm talking about, is they call the map of the sea monsters. Olaus Magnus's map, the Carta Marina. So that's the other one we can do another show on, because it has a lot more images of sea monsters and stuff on it.
Oh yeah. Wow, that's cool. Thank you, Renee. Thank you for being here. There's Nighthawk. Hey, William. He says, if civilization has improved technology-wise, then why are we building on top of a more advanced civilization? Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good question. I mean, I'd like to think that we have advanced. We're the most advanced we've ever been, but I don't know. I question that right now. I question it sometimes. But
well, if you look at the Egyptian pyramids and even the temples down in South America for the Mayans and all them, they have now discovered that they were not the first ones to inhabit that. There was another civilization before those two, before the Egyptian, before the Mayans, that built those, and the current civilizations that we know of just repurposed them for themselves.
oh, that's right. Okay, founded, right? Founded. Okay, William says, we don't build the incredible architecture like in the past. We lost so much knowledge. We did. There's been a lot of things lost. Okay, and yeah, we're just now finding out about it. So that's why we're digging into this stuff, just so we can become more aware of like how big the lie has been. Okay, right. Maybe that's part of like why we're here doing this, just to see like and cover how big the lie has been. Okay, with us. Hey Adolf, 4 Spanish ships, 1 Asian ship, bottom left, other not sure. Okay, so this is like worldwide ship selling and traveling, international, all over the globe, all over the world. Okay, well let's go and we'll see some more. We'll see some more of these things that we're going to show here. I don't think we've shown this one yet.
Oh nope. Wow,
that looks like another dragon or something. What is that?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, it almost looks like it has like a shark fin and a dragon tail and possibly a dragon head. So, I mean, what were they trying to depict there? I mean,
yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, it could be a shark. Okay, it could be. I mean, who knows? It could totally be a shark. There's Maureen. Hey, Maureen. She says the Earth is a sphere. Okay. Actually, the map that we're looking at right now is called the Planisphere. Okay, so the planet is a sphere, basically, right? So I think that it was intended to be on a sphere type of like a globe, okay, just like your normal globe, I think. But it is drawn out like it's flat, okay. And I don't know. I think that the flat Earth thing is really interesting, because why would the UN have a flat Earth on their flag and their logo?
I've noticed that too. Yes.
Yeah, because they could have. I mean, this day and age, you could easily just depict a globe on their logo as opposed to a flat Earth. And some people are calling this map a flat Earth. Some people are calling the Humford Monday map that we did last time a flat Earth map. I mean, obviously maps are flat because they're not on a globe like that we're used to, but it just makes you think. Maybe it was.
Oh yeah. So Renee's talking about the sea cows. Okay, aren't sea cows seals? If I'm not mistaken, it looks like a seal, right? Or maybe it's bigger, manatee or something. Maybe they're manatee.
A sea cow and a manatee, great big giant. It's not quite as big as some of the whales, but it's a pretty, like, I always look at them like a giant walrus. I mean, that's what they look like to me. These big sea cows.
Oh yeah, I was just in Florida, but I don't know a whole lot about the sea life. Okay, and I just know that I don't want it to eat me. Okay, and I do know I had my son down in Florida, and I stuck right beside him in the ocean. I did not go. I didn't let him get more than 2 feet away from me because all the shark attacks that are happening down there. I know we talked about it on the channel before. My son would dive down for seashells, and I would stand right beside him. I would literally have to touch him and like hold his foot. Well,
let alone jellyfish. I mean, nobody wants to experience that. I mean, my gosh.
Yes, exactly. And this is another topic that I think that is very important that we cover at some point, and that's the floods. Okay. And hey, Eric's in the chat. William, the flood covered so much history up, and I think there probably was some sort of a flood for sure. So, okay. All right, so these are super interesting comments tonight. Thank y'all so much for all the comments everybody's putting in today. All right, here's another piece of this. Now, this is one of my more interesting pieces of art here. The mermen, okay, or mermaids. I guess those are like men. I don't see any mermaids. Do y'all?
On the map itself, it was described as mermen frolicking in the Southern Ocean.
Oh my!
That is too funny. Yeah, I see no mermaids. I just see mermen there. And so it's. I thought that one was a woman because she had breasts, but it's obviously she's got a beard. So I don't know. It's confusing. Okay, but it looks like men. All right.
I think he's just muscular.
He's got a beard.
He's got some pecs, right? He's got the pecs. But yeah, this. I mean, obviously, I would assume that in the 1500s they were seeing mer people. I guess.
But did you notice instead of our mermaids and stuff that has a singular tail, this picture shows them has in two tails. Each one of them.
Oh.
No, I did not notice that until just now.
So it's almost like they're human legs or tentacles or fins or however you want to describe it, where our mermaids that we depict now only have one, like a dolphin tail.
Okay, so I'm about to pull up something that I think that a lot of people will. Oh, okay. I'm not going to. This is the logo, so I'm only going to flash it up here for just a second. But I think y'all know where I'm going with this. What about Starbucks?
Right.
Okay, like the coffee company.
Right.
Yeah.
I think everybody can just imagine it. Everybody knows what Starbucks looks like.
Yes. Well, okay. I'm trying to get it to come up here. But okay. So take this down. So we got the two tails. Some people that say that the Starbucks logo is demonic. Have y'all heard that?
Yes, I have.
Heard that several times.
Think about it? Okay. Is it because it's just a serpent or what?
No, I think it's because of the image they portrayed was actually a goddess of death, and then they changed it to a mermaid looking.
Okay. I mean, I guess I can show it. I've taken the time to pull it up, so I might as well show it. But you said, okay, so they're showing like the two tails on the mermaids, and this is their logo right here. Okay. Real quick. It's a mermaid. It looks like a mermaid. There's a tail on this side and a tail on that side.
Yeah, I saw it too. Interesting.
Interesting, right? Because we don't see mermaids. That's very observant of you, Geryl. I appreciate that. When it comes to these mermaids, so something more to dig into. Maybe Starbucks is just rubbing it in our faces. That these things actually existed.
I mean, just like they said in our chat, and we say all the time about movies, soft disclosure, who knows if Starbucks was really doing that or if it was just a coincidence. I don't think so, but
Yeah, I don't know. There's no telling. All right, let's go to the next picture here. All right, this just looks like a dolphin or something, maybe. What do you think? What do you guys think?
I see a wolf's head. Kind of looking.
I was gonna say it looks like a dog.
Yeah, definitely. I was picking up on that too. It could be, or it could just. I mean, because people drew what they saw, right?
Right.
So, super interesting. It looks pretty large too. This is something different. It looks potentially like another dragon, potentially, because that looks like it's in the water.
Right.
There's a lot of dragon imagery on this map. A lot of dragon imagery.
I mean, if you read the book, if you read the old books about adventure and stuff, especially the sailing and the exploring ones, and if they ever had a drawing in it, they had sea serpents that looked like dragons all the time. It almost looks like they could just fly right out of the water.
Yeah, that one actually it had wings too. If you go back and look at it, it looks like it has two wings. On each side. Okay, so could be. Now this one really got my attention right here because what is that? A minotaur or a centaur? I think it's a centaur, right?
Yeah, I mean I think that's what the Sagittarius symbol is, and half man, half horse, and obviously it's a warrior, and that's it could be a centaur too, but Or is the Centaur half goat and half human? Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Tartarian flag. Okay. So have you guys ever seen the Tartarian flag before? The Tartary flag.
Yeah.
Now this is on that was on that show that I was watching earlier today. The guy did bring up the fact that the Tartarian flag had a griffin on it. Okay, and that's another animal that is long gone extinct. I guess extinct, or maybe some people say it never existed. Now I've seen a video where it looked as though there was an actual live living griffin. It almost like a dog and a bird combined.
The bottom left looks like a griffin, and the very top left looks like a dragon to me.
It does. It definitely does. Okay, so now the Tartarian Empire was, I mean, we don't really hear about it. I hear about it a lot because I dig into it a little bit. All right, so, well, StreamYard's not going to let me pull this one up, y'all. I'm so sorry. I've got too many pictures on here. I've reached my limit. Okay, so I'm going to have to go get some files. It's okay. I do a lot of shows. Okay, I have a lot of files and stuff. But yeah, go look up the Tartarian flag. Okay, and you'll see a griffin on there. It's hidden in plain sight. Okay, hidden in plain sight, I think. And that very well could be a griffin right there. Down at the bottom, along with the dragon. And you know, I was thinking, like, why does even the Chinese zodiac have a dragon on it too? We were talking about dragons earlier. If dragons weren't real, why are dragons even in the zodiac? The Chinese horoscopes.
And this is the year of the dragon. We did a show on dragons not too long ago, and this is the year of the dragon.
That's right. Yeah, you know. Do you think that that's a coincidence that it's the year of the dragons and these dragons are coming out?
No,
I don't know. I don't believe in coincidences.
No, I don't think so either.
I know.
We just don't know. I mean, whether it's our creators or our higher conscious or whatever, the watchers or the controllers, whatever term you want to use. We just don't know the plan. We don't know the big picture. So. But we do know, according to everybody, has a sense that something's changing. Something big is going to come. So is it going to be the giants waking up? Is it going to be the dragons coming out? Is it going to be all of them?
Oh, yeah. Probably all of them. Probably. Longing Bigfoot, thank you so much for that super sticker. He says, look at the art and artifacts from different points and angles. Yes. It's always good to do that. Keep an open mind about everything, too. Very much. Thank you. Thank you, Mike. Okay. Here's another, what looks to be like a dragon. It says viper, though. So that's just I would assume that's probably just a snake and maybe a hyena or some kind of a cheetah or something there. So interesting. It's
an awful big snake compared to a cheetah.
It is. Well, you know, we've talked about on the channel, I've talked about giant snakes before, and that's something that we have actually here in the South. There are tales of huge snakes, like super giant snakes, like in North Carolina, down in Florida. And there's a lot of wild snakes down there now that I think a lot of them might have been pets. Okay,
yeah, they talk about the giant pythons, but then the anaconda is the world's longest and biggest snakes they've been finding in the wild. And I have an old book that actually depicts and has hand drawings in it of like an anaconda swallowing a native. And they had to cut, and it shows them cutting it open to try to get them out of the belly of the snake.
Oh, yikes. Oh, that'd be horrible. That's a terrible way to go right there. Old World Cryptid Carolina says, on one of the channels, a military guy in Iraq had an encounter with a griffin. It had a snake tail and a lion's head.
Oh, my.
Oh, wow.
I don't know that one
There's
bit.
so many vast places on this earth that we haven't explored. Like you said, you know, we have all the trenches in the oceans, let alone how deep our normal ocean is. But then you got trenches. We have like 3 major trenches in the oceans that we have never went down and explored. And then we have Alaska that has a vast wilderness that says they have dinosaurs, they have woolly mammoths, they have thunderbirds.
Oh, yeah. Well, Thunderbirds are on this map, too, I think.
Yes.
This is one that I kind of skipped over. What on earth could this be? Y'all, this looks like a giant coming out of the water and trying to
Mhm.
take the ship down.
Exactly.
I mean, what is that?
Wow.
And
Looks
why
like
is it
a
in the
giant
ocean?
snake.
What are the 3 people on the land, I wonder?
Yeah, it's it just makes me wonder for sure, because it's why would they depict this creature? It looks like a man. Okay, actually it looks like an Anunnaki. Okay, do you see the beard, the way the hair is on it? It looks like
Yes.
what
Yeah.
people described as an Anunnaki. It's a nope.
I mean, it could be
Poseidon.
it could
Ah,
be
it could be
depicting
Poseidon.
it could be depicting Poseidon, you know, the water god, or any of those that we see all the time in the movies that we're watching these days. I mean, you know, everybody talks about Aquaman. I mean, maybe that was something to go along with that.
Hmm.
Oh yeah. Yeah, re-indigenizing mind says Olmec stoneheads are eggs. That's interesting. I know what you're talking about. They look like warriors or something. So yeah, we do. We live in a fascinating time right now. That's 100%. Yeah, that does make sense that would be like Poseidon, I think. To me, it did look like a depiction of the Anunnaki, but coming out of the water. So I think some of these could be very symbolic too. Okay, very symbolic. Okay, now this is one of my favorites, the unicorn.
Mhm.
Okay, unicorns are getting pretty popular right now too. And we're hearing more about unicorns. Do y'all think that unicorns could have been a possibility to be in line?
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe they were. There's too many pictures and stories, and I believe they were real. I don't think that the Bible's just talking about rhinoceros.
No, because it says monohorn, and there's 2 different types of rhinoceroses. So
I think it was a
Yeah.
unicorn.
I mean, but they wouldn't have drawn a horse though with a horn on its head, you know, if
Right.
it wasn't a horse with a horn on its head, I think, because it
Mhm.
seemed like they were pretty literal. I mean, symbolic but literal too at the same time. And rhinoceroses or rhinoceri, I don't know how you say that for plural, but they are, I guess that would be singular actually. But anyways, it wouldn't look like that, okay? Because if they were drawing what they saw,
right.
think they would draw it looking like that with a
definitely looks like
mane.
a horse.
Yeah, it has a mane and it has a tail. So
Right.
I think that there were unicorns. Now people say, like, I'm not a biblical scholar, okay, but I've been told, and I think that we've talked about this before, there are mentions of unicorns in the Bible.
Right.
Right. That's what I was saying. If you look up in the old dictionaries at the time, you know, the early, I can't remember what the date is, but the old dictionary, it has a definition between a rhinoceros with 1 horn and a rhinoceros with 2 horns. And they're saying that possibly the mention of the 1 horn in the Bible would be a unicorn, or what they call the unicorn.
Wow. Okay, Sovereign Kalaman says Anunnaki are amphibious. Now we're going back to this picture again.
Oh,
Wow.
That figure does look like kind of like, now how many fingers does it have? 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, it probably has 5 on there.
the top one almost looks like it could have 6, or kind of blurred together a little bit. I don't know.
Could be. It could be, because I don't the Anunnaki have 6 fingers, or the Nephilim, I guess, have 6 fingers,
Nephilim, yeah.
6 toes. Yeah. Okay. It could be a giant mermaid, Eric says. So it could be. But yeah, there were a lot of giants, especially back then. I'm sure there were giants were just a part of life back then, especially all the way up to the Tartarian Empire, I would think.
Yes.
So what's with the big giant bird on that map?
Okay, was it right here on this picture?
And it's colorful, right above the 3 people. Yeah.
Oh,
That's an
yeah.
awfully big bird.
It is, but we have some more birds, so we're going to get to the. Let's get to our bird. I think the bird is next, actually, after this picture. What on earth is this? This looks like a human animal chimera.
Yes, that's what I thought of, a chimera.
Wow.
It almost looks like a T-Rex or something to me. I don't know.
It's an experiment that went wrong.
Yeah, well, I just have to say, I would not want to run into that thing in the mountains. And it obviously lives in the mountains or the hills.
I mean, it looks like it has a lion's body, then a human head, and then it has like a dragon or serpent tail. So it's, I mean, how do you put those three things together? I mean, it's depicted as three different things.
Which is like a chimera, right?
Right. Yeah.
How probable is it that there were chimeras back then? I know we talk about chimeras from back then. What about like experimentation going on and stuff? Do you think that could have been a factor with some of these?
Well, I mean, all the ancient civilizations talk about, you know, whether it's the Egyptians, they have their gods with bird heads and man bodies and dog heads and man bodies. And you have all these civilizations that talk about having these kind of animals or creature. I don't really want to call them creatures, but all these things that are like this, and every culture, they have multiple facets on how they describe them. And even the Bible talks about depicting creatures with human features, animal bodies, and different tails and different pieces of, you know, they might have wings, they might have a lion's body, a lion's head, you know, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Abbott has a cool statement right here. The Dogon claim they came from the water beings from the stars. There's also the god Dagon, who has a fishtail. Okay, so and Dennis, that was like an Anunnaki or Sumerian, right? Yep. It looked like this, but with a fishtail, like with the beard and the long hair. So yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, we're just we're putting it out there. Okay, I'm thinking out loud, basically is what I'm doing with some of these tonight. So thank you for that comment, Abbott. Okay, this is the Thunderbird one, I believe, and it looks like it's carrying an elephant, a full-grown elephant, in its talons.
Then that's a big bird.
So once again, if these aren't to scale, then why would a giant bird be carrying an elephant unless that's what they meant it to show? And you know how big an elephant is.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's a baby elephant, that's still gigantic.
Yeah,
it's still huge. So, okay, so here's the debate. We've talked about this quite a bit on the channel, and it's were Thunderbirds pterosaurs? Okay, or Thunderbirds pterosaurs, or pterosaurs Thunderbirds? I think so, like pterodactyls and stuff. It could be, but that actually looks like it has feathers on it. Okay, so
right. And if William was still here in chat, I don't know if he still is, but I mean, I think the Native Americans gave us the Thunderbird name, or came off of their language, and we just kind of call that out west, Thunderbirds. But it could have been very well prehistoric.
It could have been, yeah. Some of the some prehistoric animals were left over, basically, just like we have the crocodiles today and the alligators. They still had these gigantic birds back then. Yeah, so super interesting. Okay, so I'm a little slow in the comments, so we're still on the unicorn right here. But okay, so let's go to the next one here. So that was a giant bird. Okay, now we have the Cyclops. My goodness! I found this ancient race of giants. This was an actual category of giants. Okay, this ancient and its own separate race of giants. This is depicted on this map.
Right. Okay. If you look at the top, it's their spelling of Brazil. So
I said that. Yeah.
So they have depictions of whether giants, in the oceans, and if you read the descriptions, if somebody's translated in English, it'll tell you what coast or what ocean it's in, and or what continent most of these things are in. And this happens to be in Brazil.
Well, I'd be interested to know if they've had any kind of bones found in the Amazon. The Amazon jungle. I mean, that's a big rainforest, right? So, and bones probably don't find a whole lot of bones out there, I would think. But I'd be interested to know if there were legends of Cyclops there, even today. That's something to look into, actually. But I found that really interesting. Now, this is one that I could not figure out what this was. I can't figure out what this is.
I couldn't either. But
Well,
it
look at
almost
the
reminds
bottom.
me of the map that we talked about that had cannibals, because this lower picture in the center almost looks like maybe they're harvesting organs or something. But then the
Mm.
top left guy, he kind of reminds me of some of the crawlers that we're seeing videos of.
Yeah, I thought that too. Yeah, especially with the one that's walking on four legs, the arms and legs up at the top right here beside me.
Yep.
This one.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought that too. Because they look bipedal, but they also they go down on all fours too. So I'm not exactly sure where this is on the map because this is a close up. But there's also this other one. It looks like it's bipedal down here, down there where my finger's pointing. It looks like a goat. Okay,
yeah, so is that like a goat man? Is what is that?
Yeah, I don't know. It's all this is depicted on these maps, though. Okay, so. This one, oh yeah, this one is interesting. If you zoom in the middle, it looks like a demon.
Right.
Actually, it's
So
like a demon.
this has a dragon and supposedly two demons, and they said I think this is supposed to be Asia or the Middle East, somewhere in that area. They said that there are demons roaming the sands and deserts. So what? Over in the Middle East, what do we get? We have Aladdin and the magic lamp and the jinn. And so that kind of makes sense to me.
Yeah. Oh, the jinn. Okay, so
Yeah,
that's a whole other thing. Yeah, the jinn. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, Sovereign Cosmic Bauman says condors play a huge role. So yeah, that big bird could be a condor as well. I don't know if condors can take off pick up an elephant, but they might.
Yeah, I'd say that to be a Thunderbird or bigger.
Oh yeah. Okay. And let's see. I was actually looking for like dinosaurs and stuff, like what we would consider to be dinosaurs on this map. But I think dinosaurs to us are dragons to them. Okay,
right.
So
could be.
I do think that there are dragons. Maybe at the very top right there, it looks like another dragon.
And I thought this one was interesting because you have like a camel, then maybe another camel, and then all of a sudden you have like a dragon. It's like, you don't really think of, okay, did these animals live in the same area? I mean, obviously it's like a desert climate for the camels.
That's right. Oh, okay, is that another unicorn or no? Maybe those are just regular animals right there.
Those could be just regular animals. I was just taking pictures off of the map of any animal that looked interesting.
It's cool. Definitely cool. Okay.
So that's a further away picture. We already saw the dog head looking one coming out of the water. So that's like an overall, just a picture of one of the panels.
Okay. Awesome. Very cool.
And that was supposedly the continent right there in the center, right above them, was supposed to be Japan. And supposedly this is one of the earliest depictions of what Japan actually looked like, or as close as anybody's ever came at that time.
Oh, wow. Well, that's really cool. I mean, for the 1500s, and of course we're told that everything was so primitive back then. I mean, that's pretty advanced to have a full map of the entire Earth. Okay.
Right.
In my opinion. Interesting stuff. Now I have pictures from other old maps, of course, too, that do depict things like dragons. Okay, these are more like old world, like Tartarian type maps. Medieval. Okay, let's just say the medieval period.
Right.
We'll have full, sea dragons, and we got flying dragons, and here's more dragons. Let's see if we can get this to come up. Here be dragons.
Here be dragons.
Here be dragons. Yeah. Okay. So it just seems like there were a lot of dragons, and I guess there were so many ships on the seas, and so many stories of sailors and pirates and whatever was going on out there. Explorers, really encountering some scary stuff out there in the ocean. I mean, the oceans are pretty scary. Unfortunately, I decided I was going to watch a whole bunch of videos of people at the beach getting attacked by sharks and whales coming up to Florida. That sucked. I shouldn't have done that. Okay. It was like watching Jaws before you go on vacation.
Yeah, it's bad enough that we have to worry about sharks and stuff like that, and manta rays and jellyfish. But then when you get into this, it's like, oh no, sea serpents. We got to add that to the list.
Right. Oh yeah. At some point we saw something on here, and William said that was a sphinx. Okay, so one of those pictures could have been a sphinx, which is really also interesting. Is what is a sphinx exactly? Like that's something the ancient Egyptians used to depict in their artwork, and that's like a chimera,
right?
An animal-human chimera.
And supposedly on this map, if you zoom in and look around, there's actually three sphinxes on this map.
Okay, well that's really interesting. Okay, I am so behind on these comments, so I'm not even going to try. Yeah, and that's true. Pterodactyls are seen quite a bit right now. We're getting reports of pterodactyls, pterosaurs, and people are even writing books about it. Okay, and really taking this. We need to take this into consideration. A lot of people I know personally have had pterodactyl sightings within the past 5 to 10 years, multiple sightings. So Sovereign says pterodactyls to this day are ripping through sky portals and flying around California. They usually hang out on eucalyptus trees in cloaked form. That's very interesting.
People have been reporting flying dragons out in Pennsylvania and on the East Coast.
Yeah, North Carolina.
Oh yeah, North Carolina is a hot spot for sure. I saw something. Okay, because Sovereign mentioned portals. Okay, now I'm thinking like okay, so right now we're in such an interesting time because I think the frequencies of the Earth are changing and the dimensions are kind of crossing right now. I mean, that's the only way I can explain things, right? We're having the timelines are shifting, hopefully for the best. Hopefully for the best. And I saw this video of a guy named, let's just say John O'Brady. I'm just making that name up, right? John O'Brady is a minor league baseball player. Okay, and there may be people in the chat that have heard this story too. John O'Brady plays baseball. He ran into, guess who, playing minor league baseball. I mean, John O'Brady, another John O'Brady. The exact same name, looks like his identical twin. They both play the same sport. They're on 2 different teams. They never met, and all of a sudden they come face to face. The same name. They look identical, like identical twins.
Wow!
But they've never met. Okay, could this video have been just pulling our chain? I don't know. It seemed pretty legit. Okay, seemed pretty legit. Now, what are the odds of that? I mean, I know there are a lot of Jessica Joneses in this world. Okay, so if I ran into another Jessica Jones, but one that looked exactly like me,
right?
I mean, could it be that there are like dimensions overlapping? And it's just like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles right now, where they have the multiverse. Okay, and the Ninja Turtles run into other versions of themselves, but they look slightly different, like Uncanny Valley kind of,
right?
Slightly different. But now we're all just kind of. I mean, what if we do run into all of our doppelgangers all at once? Because first of all, they've been doing the predictive programming in our children's cartoons with Spider-Man and TMNT. So, what is happening right now
in the human race? And if we have creators. And we have different areas, different zones, different cultures. Chances are you could have an exact replica because, look at the human face. We have eyes, nose, mouth, chins, ears. We all have the same features. So chances are genetically and by DNA, you could have another person look exactly like you, but they could be Black. They could be Mexican, Asian. They could be whatever. I mean, there's no rhyme or reason how DNA does what it does. But then you get into dimensions, like you said, multiverse, how many Jessicas are all the way through. Some of them are explorers. Some of them might be school teachers. Some of them might be physicists. You never know. But they all look exactly like you, but you all have different skills and different mindsets.
Yeah. A lot of people are saying doppelgangers. Okay. And, it's kind of scary a little bit thinking about it. But then we got the whole clone thing as well. And okay, so I just read an article that I believe BlackRock just bought Ancestry.com.
Right.
Yeah.
So they have.
Yeah.
Okay. What are the implications of that? And have you guys ever sent your DNA off to be tested?
Nope.
No.
I will not. I will not. Mm-mm.
Neither. I knew there was something wrong with that from the get go.
Yeah.
I just, I
Especially when they
don't
advertise it for Christmas gifts. Come
for
on.
$99. I did buy my ex-husband that one time for Christmas. And that actually caused a big old fight. We're not going to get into that. Okay. It caused a big old fight because I'm not giving anybody's business away, but sometimes through those DNA tests, it'll shake up your entire story that your family has told you for a long time. Okay.
Right.
And stuff like that. And I'm not like, that has nothing to do with what we're talking about right now, except for the DNA testing. But family secrets come out and stuff sometimes when you do tests like that, apparently. Okay.
Yep.
So
Like, you don't belong to this family.
exactly. Something like that. Okay. But anyways, I'm not spilling the beans right here. But let's just say that's dangerous because they can. Okay, so if those troops were sent into Kandahar to go obtain a sample of a giant for cloning purposes, we've also got that story of the robot grandma that I remote viewed for our team.
Right.
The grandma's the little boy was kidnapped by a woman who looked like his grandma, but she was a robot, he said. And the grandma a year prior had woken up face down in that same campground with puncture wounds on her neck. Could somebody, something, some agency, some aliens, I don't know, be taking samples for cloning and stuff? What kind of implications does this have? That they're going to have access to? And here's the thing, like, they may not have your DNA, but Uncle Bob or whoever, Uncle Bill might have gone and given his DNA. So now they have your family sample.
Yep, that's close enough.
Yeah. That's not good.
I mean, you want to talk about soft disclosure? Just look at the movie The Body Snatchers, how they replaced us.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and we have this whole transhumanism movement going on right now too, right? So it's all being orchestrated and it's all being exposed kind of, I guess, right now. But yeah. Okay. So if they're cloning humans and stuff, I mean, I would assume they're cloning dinosaurs and stuff too, right? Like, that's why I ask, well, could there be a Jurassic Park?
Yeah,
a real life Jurassic Park.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very well could be.
I think so. If we're getting reports of dinosaurs, I did include that in my presentation down in Florida, and and that's not everybody there was like my normal viewers in my crowd, so I was like the lone cryptid person there. Okay, everybody else was like secret space program and spiritual stuff and UFOs, but I talking about the really weird cryptid stuff. Okay, and so anyways,
but I mean, even
that got a good reaction.
Even that group at some point in time know there are different alien species out there. So, and they, the aviary, the reptilian, I mean, so they're not too far off between the Egyptian gods and the Chimera. They're not very far off.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Hey, Bernard says that he had a couple he didn't know say that they had just seen him traveling in Central Texas multiple times. Ooh. Uh-oh.
Oh wow.
It's just something to just kind of be aware of, that this may be happening. And like I said, was that guy, were they pulling our chain? It seemed pretty legit. Okay, that little video I saw, the two guys, they were actually there together and they were like, we've never met, but they looked exactly alike. Okay, so
well, yeah, like we said, multiple the multiverse and multiple dimensions. I mean, I've told time slip stories where a best friend pulls up on the freeway next to his buddy's vehicle and knew it was him and looked at him, and his buddy looked over at him and like he didn't even know who he was and just speeded off. He called him on the phone, and that his buddy that he just had on the phone hadn't even got on the freeway yet. He just left their subdivision.
Oh my God. I know. Well,
yeah, but then he got up with it and then looked over, and they both really freaked out because he got on the highway, got up to that vehicle that was his, and he looked over and saw himself.
And was freaked out and never talked about it
they
again.
Both freaked out on the highway.
Okay, well, they say right now we're doing a shift, right, from 3D to 5D, let's just say, and the Earth is splitting.
Right.
What These are, like I said, it's like the dimensions are crossing and they're just kind of intermingling right now until the split happens. Okay. And like the timelines are converging in some way. And so we're going to, what if we do, we may start running into versions of ourselves. And this is like a whole other topic for a whole other show. It really is. But, okay. So Sovereign Cosmic Wildman says the ancient Chinese called ley lines dragon lines. Those energy lines that enrobe the oval globe. What does that imply if those lines are associated with dragons or reptilians? What do y'all think?
Wow.
I mean, we talked about the connection, you know, between the Himalayan salt and stuff. So why wouldn't ley lines? A lot of them are made out of crystals. So, I mean, that's not a far stretch to say Himalayan salt could be, you know, crystal form. And, you know, if dragons have energy and giants have energy, then why wouldn't the ley lines give off the Earth's energy?
Yeah. I bet. Hey, Roger, there probably is a truck driving Jessica Jones in another universe. Why not? Why not? I mean, that sounds fun. I was just teaching my son about trucks and driving trucks and stuff on the way to Florida. So yeah, there could be. We discussed that. So yeah, if you can imagine it, you can be it. Okay.
That's right. We don't know how many multiverses there are. There could be hundreds, it could be thousands. So you could have your version or our versions of ourselves in every aspect of like engineering, like I said before, and be a physicist, a scientist, a rocket scientist, a school teacher, a pastor, a robber, a bank robber. You know, we could be anything and everything.
Oh yeah.
You know, they talk about parallel worlds. Well, it may not just be a parallel world. It could be a multiverse, and we don't know how many is out there. They do talk about past lives and reincarnation. Well, maybe this really isn't past lives because there really is no time. Because you hear near-death experiences, they say you see the past and everything. There's no time. It's all there. So who's to say it's not really past lives? You're seeing different multiverses. So I mean, none of us really know. I mean, we're probably just gonna be shocked when we find out the truth.
Yes, yes. We're digging in. We're digging in for sure to find it. Now, now that map, it did look as though, okay, so Antarctica on this map that as a whole, it looks like this would be like a flat version of it, right? So Antarctica is the ring around it, they say, right? And which is gigantic. But, okay, so now this is where we're going to dive into a little bit of the flat Earth theory. Okay, and I know the audience, y'all get ready to rumble. Okay. Let's get ready to rumble because here we go. We have all these like old maps that could be, you know, flat Earth maps, some say. Okay. Some people think that the Earth is not round, it is flat. And that's what it looks like.
I don't believe it's flat like that, no.
Okay, I personally don't either. Okay, but then we have things like what they're claiming to be is an ice wall all around Antarctica. And okay, this is gonna go down a little rabbit hole. Are y'all ready? Because I'm doing all these like targets, remote viewing targets, or those blind targets, and I'm getting data that suggests that these UFOs and these aliens, extraterrestrials, are not coming from outer space. They're coming from the Earth here. Okay. Now there's different options. Okay. Could they be coming from inner Earth, inside the Earth? Or, you know, you look at things like this map right here. Could they be coming from outside what is known as the ice wall? Okay, this ice wall right here. Could this be, okay, now I'm just asking everybody to have an open mind. I'm not saying I believe this necessarily. Okay, that's why I said get ready to rumble, right? But could it be, I mean, could this be a possibility that the maps are also not true that we've been shown and it's more, this could be more of a reality, actually? And because somebody in the chat, I don't know if it was Abbott, but somebody just said there are parts of Earth we don't have access to. And that's not because we don't want to go there. I mean, and this is the way I'm spinning your statement there. It's because it's off limits. You know, we're not allowed to go over parts of Antarctica or Antarctica. You know, the elite get to go there, but we don't.
Right.
Right. Why?
I mean, if you just read about Admiral Byrd's memoirs and his log, you know, he talks about inner Earth and our Antarctica. And then all of a sudden now we have a peace treaty amongst all these nations that only their scientists and they can have labs there, but we can't go there ever to explore.
Yeah, that's the only place on Earth that has peace.
Yeah. Right.
And we can't go there.
Yeah. Well, you know, I do remember was it called Starlink, that Elon Musk thing, satellites that looks like an Amtrak train going through the sky.
Right. Yep.
I was told that was one of the first places that they tested that out was over Antarctica.
Oh.
But there's not supposed to be a whole lot of people in Antarctica. But I don't know if I believe that. I think there's probably a lot of people there. But yeah, I mean, I think what we're showing is just a microcosm of what really is.
Right. So if you got one of those original pictures from our very first show that we did on Flat Earth,
yeah,
where you'll see that we as the Earth that we know is in the center, and then the ice wall, and then there's another ring, and inside that you have places like Atlantis and all the other places, you know, planets and Lemuria and all these things and the Titans, and then there's more on the outside of that. So what if those are all individual planets or sealed, you know, with the firmament on their own, and we use portals to go back and forth? So
stargates. Yep.
Stargates, yes. So,
Mm-hmm.
so all the planets that we consider planets as globes out in space are actually on our Earth, and these people can just come and go as they want through the portals.
Yeah, because I've heard that what if we're both? We're flat and Earth. We're flat and round. What if we're both? They're just causing a division and having everyone fighting. What if we are kind of in a little flat area, but there is a lot more land past the ice wall and they don't want us to know about? They just want us to fight.
And some people say if you picture like a 33 or a record album, and you remember putting them on a carousel where you'd have more than one album on there to play. They were saying, what if our Earth is shaped like that, where we're on top, and then below us is another level of people, then below that is another level, and then below that is another, but you have access through the center, which would be Antarctica.
Oh.
So there's also this whole like magnetic rock, right? That's supposed to be in the flat. I think it's in the flat Earth map. It seems as though there's like a magnetic rock that's in the middle. That's why all the compasses point north, okay? Because they're all pointed towards this gigantic, it's like a mountain, a magnetic mountain, right? And so that's something cool to look into as well.
Well, Geryl and I have been talking here lately. You know, everyone knows I go outside almost every single night. You know, I've been doing this for many years. I sit in my backyard. The North Star is right in front of me. All the constellations have not changed all these years. So if we're flying through the universe all at the same time, why haven't any of the constellations changed? And why are they always spinning in a circle? So no, I'm not just flat Earth, but I see the pros and cons in both. So what, who could it be? Maybe we are both. But we do, everything is spinning around. And none of the constellations have changed over thousands of years. So how can that be?
Yeah. I don't know. It's super interesting.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I've done some remote viewing on some of the dwarf planets inside those constellations. Like I did, Barry gave me TRAPPIST-1 star system, which is in the Aquarius. I think it's in the Aquarius constellation. And I do believe that there's life out there on those stars, those planets, on those dwarf planets. And I think they're being utilized by people that are from this planet. Okay. So I don't know. It's just, like I said, we live in a weird world.
Well, we're talking about our consciousness and stuff, and our frequencies changing to the 5D.
Mm-hmm.
And you just remote view Aquarius. Well, guess what? Maybe this is actually the age of Aquarius, not in the 70s when the love children were, but maybe we're experiencing the true age of Aquarius now.
Yeah, could be. Could be.
Well, how many years is actually missing also?
And if you want to go down the rabbit hole, guess what group sang Age of Aquarius, the fifth dimension.
Is that their name?
Yep.
Oh my gosh. I mean, it could be. And Jane, that's right. The actual years, like the number of years are off too, right? Like they gave us an extra 100 years or 1,000 years or something, that the count is off. Let's just say.
Right. We just skipped the whole timeline. And now whether we actually went through that and they just don't recognize it, or it was unwritten history, or didn't want to, they wanted to hide the history, or they just automatically skipped it and went to whatever date they wanted to, 1,000 years, 900 to 1,000 years ahead. So we don't really know 100% what this actual year and time is.
We're talking about going to the fifth dimension. Do you really think everyone is going to be going to the fifth dimension, or is there going to be a split? Is there going to be some still down here in the 3D and we go to the 5D because we're awake and we move on? Maybe that's when all the cryptids and everything come out. We take off, go to the 5D, and then those who are stuck down here, all hell breaks loose.
I personally think that if people stay in the 3D and we go to the 5D, then we will be like the ghost and the apparitions to them, because we will be vibrating at a higher frequency, so we can move freely between the dimensions, but they'll still be in their dimension. So they'll see us as whispers and sounds and ghosts, shadows.
Yeah. It's kind of odd, because you take a step back and you start looking at your relationships with people. And I noticed this is like they kind of phase in and out. Okay. And it's almost like I'm living in my own little bubble all the time. I just live in my own little bubble. And I've learned to live in the present moment because of probably from all the trauma I've experienced. So, okay. Like, and I'm laughing about it because it's like, well, sometimes you come to a point where you have to live in the present moment, or else you might lose your mind. Okay.
Right.
I am not going to lose my mind. Okay. I've already been to hell and back several times. Okay. And so that's why I'm able to do this. I've learned to do it. Okay. Live in the present. Don't think too far ahead. Don't worry about the past too much. Just stay right here. Stay with me, y'all. Stay with me. Right. Yeah. Stay in the present. And that's how I do this. Yeah. And I think that maybe that's just kind of some good advice for everybody that's watching and listening. We're living in such wild, weird times right now. All we can do is live in the present moment right now. Okay. Live in the present. Take care of yourself. Live in the present.
Right.
And worry about, try not to worry, about stuff, because a lot of stuff's out of our control.
Right.
This month. And we've done the work. A lot of us.
Going to happen. That's how I see it. Whatever's going to happen, you can't change it. You just have to accept it and have no fear, and just go day by day, and we'll get through it.
And the interesting thing about our time is that, like you said, live in the now, live in the present. Well, we never actually ever do. Every time we think about it, we're already going into the future. Past. We're already into the next. So so then I think about that theory and being in the next. Well, then I'm already past that. I'm past that again. Every time we talk, we're continually, or every time we walk, we're continually going in the next. We're never in that same moment in life ever. We're always going forward, and it's just like a split second every time. So we're never in the now. We're always in the next.
We're always in the next. Yeah. Well, just, like I tell everybody, get your popcorn and buckle up, because we're all in for a wild kind of ride. And a lot of us, especially, I feel like people that are resonating with my channel, okay, and all the shows that I do, a lot of us we're all resonating together because we've done some work on ourselves. Okay. And if you haven't, I'm here to inspire you to do it. Okay. To do it. So because if, and I do believe that, yes, there is a shift going on. And if we are raising our consciousness, and we're here trying to help raise the consciousness of everybody who's watching and listening to, and it's not, maybe it's kind of unconventional because we're talking about weird stuff, right? But that's what kind of helps people expand and to raise the vibration. That's what we're doing. And I want to take as many people with me as I can. I want everybody to win. Okay,
Right.
I really do. And I don't. And there's a lot of people that fight, and I'm not fighting with anybody that doesn't want to go with me. Don't stay where you are, okay? But I'm not taking people kicking and screaming, but I'm here to help, okay? If anybody wants to come with us, we're going. Get in the car. What is that? It's like, get in the car, loser.
That's right.
Get in the
Jessica's going to
spaceship,
do a
loser.
galactic road trip, and she's inviting you all to go with. Join the Magic
All right.
City Mystery Bus Tour.
Road trip with
hop on
Jessica.
the crazy train. Okay, we're all aboard the crazy train, y'all. The woo train, right?
Yep.
No, Dave Scott drives the woo train. Dave's on the woo train. I'm on the crazy train over here, and we're here to have fun. Yeah, we're here to have fun though, and to look into weird stuff. And
it's going to
you
get weird.
You got to have an open mind. I mean, that's the first thing. If you're so closed that you don't want to believe in any of this, then guess what? You probably will never have an experience with a ghost or a cryptid or your grandma or aunt come to visit you. You may never experience that. But if you just have a little inkling and start with there, I mean, I see this all the time in people that are in fields of Bigfoot and cryptid or paranormal or UFO. They concentrate so hard on that they miss all this other stuff going around them. But then when that door opens and they finally start to see maybe an apparition or a ghost, then it's like, okay, what else is out there? What's the possibilities? Then your mind starts opening, and then pretty soon you'll start having all these weird ideas like we do. What if this is true? How does this fit into our world? Does that make sense on what's going on right now? So you just got to have that little open door, just open that window just a little bit and peek out and see what you see once in a while.
Exactly.
There might be that what if that some of this is true.
I know. That's why I love this show tonight, where we've been able to really explore into this map from the 1500s.
Yeah.
So this map from the 1500s, this is stuff that we've been told doesn't exist. But guess what? I was told that Bigfoot didn't exist. And I went out in the woods and I found out for myself that it does. There's a bunch of them. There's thousands of them, millions of them probably.
Well, there's Bigfoot on that map too. We saw Bigfoot on that map somewhere.
Oh yeah, there's Bigfoots. There's mermen and all sorts.
So where are all these creatures and stuff now? I mean, did they go to inner Earth, or
they're hiding from us?
Yeah. But
yeah,
they don't want to have anything to do if it's right now until we do go to the fifth dimension.
I don't blame them. I want to stay away from people too.
I don't blame them at all. Yeah, it's good to that they're. I mean, because listen, if they were out in the open, I mean, we've got people that are trigger happy to go out there and want to hurt them or something. Who knows? I mean, maybe there's just they're waiting for the right time. Okay, maybe it's just the time is not. Maybe the people that go to 5D are going to see them more. Okay,
that's what I think. I think they're waiting. They're waiting for the change. They're here. They're here to take care of their families, their species the best they can. And if that means stay away from us because we're intrusive and we try to domineer everything that we touch. I mean, that's just the way humans are. But their main goal, I believe, is to take care. They're stewards of the land. They take care of the ley lands. They take care of the portals. They're here for Mother Nature to take care of this earth. But they may have to do that in their own little world. And I think that's a lot of times why you hear knocks on trees and growls and throwing rocks, because they don't want us to intrude on where maybe their babies are, or their family, or maybe there's danger out there and they're trying to keep us from going into danger. I mean, there's all kinds of aspects of this. You just got to think about it and, okay, well, what makes sense to you? What do you think happened during that experience?
Nothing makes sense.
That could be Alice in Wonderland sometimes, right?
I mean, I could be a Mad Hatter. I don't know.
The caterpillar, right? You're the caterpillar, Geryl.
Yeah.
Okay. I love it. Yeah, all these cartoons and everything. I mean, my favorite part of Alice in Wonderland were the singing flowers. Okay, that was my favorite part.
Yep.
I haven't had any flowers sing to me, not yet. But yeah, we're living in cartoon land or something.
Yeah.
Because the things that we've been told never existed and weren't real are real. Okay.
Right.
Some of the things are real. And I can only tell you for sure by the things that I've experienced. And I've experienced a lot of weird stuff. Okay. A lot of weird stuff.
So just think if they would give us the truth or give us the information, what kind of map today could we make on what really exists and what's out there?
Yeah. Well, it's time. We do have maps. We have the Bigfoot mapping project. We have the UFO map of all the sightings. We have paranormal maps. We also have the missing persons clusters maps too. So,
right. We have a Mothman
they
map.
all correlate. Yeah.
Mothman map.
Yeah, absolutely. We do. But yeah, it's like Maureen put in the chat just then, she said, "Buckle up, Buttercup." That's one of my favorite phrases.
Yep.
I don't think the veil is thin anymore. I think the veil's open.
Yeah, I do too.
I
agree with that too.
We do other shows, you know, obviously we do the Geezer Geeks, and I'm on the show of Dennis Carroll, you know, The Road Less Traveled. We do that podcast. I always say not only is the veil thinning, and not only are we lifting the veil up like a movie theater or a play, but we're going to rip it down. It's going to be in the middle of the room on fire by the time this is all over.
Rip down the veil.
I know. Yeah, there's no veil anymore. There's not anymore. I just I think there was, but it has been completely ripped off out of my world. But you know, I live in a different reality than a lot of people too, because we're all living in our own little realities, I guess. And I don't know.
You know, and that makes sense that the veil's no longer there, or maybe it's there sometimes and completely gone other times, because a lot of people have reports or experiences where they say they come across Bigfoot or something, and they look at them like, "You can see me? You know I'm here?" It's like they look just as shocked as the person seeing them.
Right.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, well, I mean, we might be just elusive, weird people to them too, you know, because they live out in the woods. Maybe they're not hiding from us. Maybe they're just, you know, living in a different reality.
Like I said before, what if we're their ghosts? What if we're ghosts to Bigfoot and aliens? Maybe maybe we're the extraterrestrial and the weirdos.
Well, I'm definitely a weirdo, that's for sure. Definitely we're definitely weirdos. For sure. Yeah, you know, I think that was during my presentation down in Florida this week. I was talking, or maybe it was on a show that I just did. I can't remember. I do a lot of public speaking. But I was talking about I was on Tony Merkel's show. If you guys missed that, okay, by the way, I was on the Confessionals podcast with Tony Merkel, and he just put that out. We did that about a couple months ago, but he just aired it this week. That's a fantastic interview. It really made me think, okay, about some of my experiences. But I was talking about the ghost of Sasquatch and dogmen and stuff, because we're seeing out in the woods, you know, there's even videos like the Fort Pierce dogman of what looks like a spirit form of a dogman. Okay, now is it spirit form, or is it just going in between dimensions? Could it be a ghost of a cryptid? You know, are cryptids ghosts? Could they be? It's just something to think about.
Right.
Well, Native American Indians talk about Sasquatches being great spirits, you know, as in being passed on, you know, that are almost like guardians to them, or like spirit guides. So that would be a ghost.
It would be, yeah. Jane, a native man is behind you, a friend.
A native man is behind me.
Yes, I'm not sure if that's literal. There might be somebody behind you. I don't know. Okay.
Geryl.
It could just be your friend. It could be your friend. Yes.
He's just in the other room.
I think you're talking about right directly behind you.
There might be. There's flutes and drums, and there's all kinds of things back there.
Yeah. Thank you, Sovereign. That's sweet of you. Yeah, that was a great interview. When I do an interview and somebody makes me think and change, you know, not change my perspective, but like see a different perspective on my experiences with cryptids and ETs. That's a good interview. Okay, so Tony knows what he's doing. We're going to be doing some more work together, by the way, y'all. Tony Merkel and myself, and so I'm looking forward to that. It's coming up soon, so y'all stay tuned for that. But yeah. It's and that's what I like to do. I like to look at things from different perspectives. Okay, and just to not to stay so stuck in what we think is what it is. Okay.
Right.
Like I like to, and by the way, I have a moth flying around that's not an orb. If anybody to see
I
something
was just
flying
going to
around,
say that.
I've seen it a couple times
Sorry,
already.
I just saw that.
I have a moth that is attracted to my ring light. So there's a big old brown moth in here. It's not an orb.
Mothman.
But I'm waiting for it to land on my nose in a second. Okay, so I just wanted to let everybody know. It's a moth.
Oh,
It's
wow.
definitely a moth.
But just like what you were saying about you and Tony, that's how me and Jane think. I mean, just because we've had an experience and this is how we perceive it doesn't mean everybody else's experiences are the same as ours. So we love listening to other people's, whether it's UFO, cryptid, paranormal, whatever it is, whatever their experiences, we love listening to how it happened to them or how they perceived it. Because there might be a point in our story or our experience that we can't quite figure out, but something all of a sudden what they say just makes sense and fits in and gives us a bigger picture of our reality.
And none of us are experts. We don't really know if the earth is flat or round. None of us really know for sure, do we? We're going by our beliefs.
Yeah.
And also, it could, like we were saying, that could be both. We don't really know what's really out there. They've been lying to us so much.
I mean, I know how we were raised and how we were taught, but at the same time, I know how many times we've learned that they've said, conspiracy theories are false and not true, and you're just making it up, and then they become actual fact. So I know how many times we've been told lies that were actually true. So were they telling us the truth about the earth being round? I mean, how do you separate that sometimes?
But if you think about it, for thousands of years, they did think it was flat with a firmament until NASA came along, and then we kind of went round in a way. Because, I do have a Christian friend that she is 100% flat earth, and she will not change her mind. She said the Bible says that, and I believe in the firmament. And we agree to disagree on things.
I mean, whether it's a figure of speech, it does say, all four corners of the earth.
Right. Where's the corners?
Get 4 corners on a globe?
Oh, well, I had another map that had corners on it too, but
really?
Okay, I know. I'm not gonna pull that one up. There is a map. Actually, it was round, but it was like a rectangle too. But okay, so you mentioned NASA. Do you guys believe everything NASA puts out?
No,
absolutely
nothing.
Not.
That's why I'm saying, how do we know the globe is even real?
Exactly.
We were learned that, taught that in school that, okay, this is what the earth looked like. This is where the continents are. Do we really know for sure? That's
it's just like the human experience. If I come to you and I'm your friend or whatever, we get to know each other and I continually tell you lies and you find out time after time that I'm lying, I'm not, you would not trust me anymore or not even listen to what I say. Even if I did tell you the truth, kind of like the boy crying wolf.
Right.
When do you start believing what they say and how do you know what they're saying is truth? But all this other time they've been telling us lies.
I know.
Yes,
it's hard to believe a lot of that. And being a remote viewer, I've seen some of the stuff that they have put out is probably not all correct. But however, we're not going to get into the moon or remote viewing stuff because that was a bad experience for me. Okay, but okay, Kevin Smith is asking, has anyone mentioned the inner Earth theory yet? And yes, sure, but we haven't brought it up, Kevin. Don't worry, we haven't. What do you guys think about the inner Earth theory? Because I think that there's some of these targets I've gotten remote viewing wise. Like I said earlier, I think that some of the ETs are coming from this Earth, not outer space.
Right.
Like the crypto terrestrials, I guess is what you call them, not extraterrestrials at that point. But even General Byrd was, back in the 1940s, General Byrd claimed to have gone down into inner Earth.
Right. And it took over his craft and they told him just to relax, take it easy. And he saw alien species there and was talking to them. And they were, supposedly they were there to have peace on Earth. And so maybe that's why all the nations gathered at Antarctica, because they said, hey, we need to come together somehow.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there's no reason. There's no reason. Just like Shangri-La or any of the Inner Earth, stories that we have. There's no reason why you can't go down into a cavern, then all of a sudden walk through a portal, then you're transported to a paradise or another place where there is plants and another atmosphere and animals. And maybe that's where some of the cryptids and animals are coming from.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. And I think, I've had some, I had a target a long time ago. One of my first targets that I did publicly was the Dyatlov Pass. And I do believe that those, I think it was 9 Russian hikers were, I think they were unalive, actually. I think that they were, at least 4 of them were, but they all died. They all passed away. And from exposure and other things. But I think they got too close to an entrance to Inner Earth. Okay, and that is what the data suggested. And I don't think they were attacked by a Russian Yeti. But I think that these doors, these maybe portals, cave entrances, I don't know what kind of entrances they are, but I think they're heavily guarded. And there's a reason they don't want us down there. Like somebody said earlier, there are places that we're just not allowed to know about. We're not allowed to go.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, I've told the story before. It's not really a story. I shouldn't say story. I don't know why. I just use that word. But I've heard the story of an explorer that was backed by the U.S. government to find Inner Earth because he said he had a map to it. And he went over to the Himalayas, and the U.S. government funded it. And they also sent spies to follow them, and the Russians sent spies to follow them, and the British government sent spies to follow them. And this family and all the people packed up all these provisions and were off. And they went over a mountain range, and then they weren't seen again for months and months. And all of a sudden they came back. And he told the story of how they found Shangri-La, and they actually was in contact with the Philosopher's Stone.
The Philosopher's Stone.
Those people that were following, they could not find them. They went all over the whole territory, the mountain range and everything, and they were gone months. And they finally gave up, and then like 6 or 8 months to a year later, they finally showed back up. So where were they that whole time?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird. What now, Geryl, what exactly is a Philosopher's Stone? I've heard of it, but I don't know what that is.
It's supposedly the blessed stone, and it's kind of like what we talk about, the Akashic records.
Okay.
It gathers in all this information, and it's almost like how Solomon got his wisdom and all this stuff. I mean, if you're in contact with that stone, that you have all this information right in the palm of your hands. Basically, almost like in the movies where they have the Marvel movies, where they're collecting all the stones and put on the gauntlet, and you get them all together, and you have control.
Yeah, you can destroy everything too, right? Like
hopefully you use it for good, but there is that other option.
Exactly. Well, that and knowing our history of this world, not everyone has good intentions for humanity.
Right.
So, there's been a lot of those people. I think there's people like that in power now. Okay, and power. Okay, or whatever. I'm not gonna get into that discussion. But there's a lot of people who are running things that shouldn't be running things. Okay, so, but we're waking up to it. Okay, we're all waking up to it, and that's important.
Right.
So
and I think that comes with everybody becoming awake. Not woke, but awake. Raising their consciousness and, open to ideas and, getting experiences and, thinking for themselves and having an open mind. And I think that's what we're all coming to. And more people seem to be coming that way.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Steve. Hey, Steve. Steve says, I have a pedal for my guitar called the Philosopher's Tone.
That's awesome.
Cool.
That is cool. That is cool. Man, this has been a great discussion tonight. Like we've really covered a lot of stuff actually tonight, and
hopefully didn't get anybody mad.
It's okay. It's all good. I don't think anybody got mad. I think everybody's had a good time tonight. Everybody's
No,
had a
it's
good
just,
time. We've had a
we
great
don't
chat
really
tonight.
know. It could be flat and round. We don't really know. We're not flat earthers. I'm more round, but I've been wrong before. We've had to change our mind on a lot of things.
Oh yeah, I'm always open to looking at new perspectives. Okay, and so
Mhm.
I was very much anti-flat Earth for a long time. I was like, "There's no way. It's
Right.
definitely round." Okay, but I mean, just like with a lot of other stuff, I
Like the
just
stars
I'm
moving.
not 100%. Okay, like I'm like 90% it's round, and like 10% it could be, or
Right.
more. Maybe it's like 15 or
Right.
20%.
Like
Okay,
I
it could be
said,
flat.
you know what,
Okay,
we were raised this way, and I do think we're on a globe, but
Mhm.
going
yeah,
down the rabbit holes and having an open mind, there's a lot of stuff with the flat earth theories that kind of makes sense, and I think it could
Yeah.
fit. So it's like,
yes.
I don't know.
Like I said,
And
like I say,
just like this month in July, there was one day where 96% to 97% of all the earth had the exact same time and amount of sunlight at the same time.
and
How do
how
you
could that be?
explain
Yeah.
that?
Sorry. That don't make
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, not everything makes sense to me
Mm.
anymore. And even the placement of the moon sometimes, like I go outside and I'm like, wow, the moon
Oh,
should have been like here tonight. And so I must have switched timelines.
yeah.
Right.
My
We're
my
se-
answer to everything now is I must have switched. I jumped
yeah.
timelines.
We're seeing it in different spots. I even had Geryl get up out of his recliner the other night and go to the front door, and I said, "Look where the moon is. Have you ever noticed it over our neighbor's house before?" I mean, it's just like I've never noticed it that far over. I mean, it's just everything's changing.
No,
The sun sets
it's
in a different
usually
spot.
way up and has its arc and goes down. This was like going down right over top of their houses. Like, there's no way. That's never ever
Yeah.
happened since we've been here.
Oh
Like I
yeah.
said, the stars spinning around. I mean, none of the constellations have changed, and you can't say we're all traveling in the exact same speed through the universe. That's not possible. Common sense wise, the constellations would have changed, and they haven't. So
Yeah, well,
just you
yeah,
just
well,
don't know what
I've
to
been
think. Yeah.
seeing some people are just kind of tired of the debate and they just say, I think the earth is shaped like a hot dog.
Ah, ah.
Yeah.
It's the hot dog theory. Okay. The earth just is a big old hot dog. A
No, I've heard
sausage.
football shape, egg shaped. You've heard different shapes. There's
Yeah.
some
The
things just
vesica.
don't make sense, and there are things, it does make you scratch your head and go, hmm.
And a lot of people are noticing the sunset and sunrise are not in the same place as when we grew up as kids.
Yeah.
And the daylight is lasting longer than it should. People
Mhm.
are seeing daylight at 3 in the morning compared to 5 or 6 in the morning, and it's still light for us. We never had light at night the whole time that me and Jane can remember, past 9 o'clock, maybe a little past. Now it's like 10, 11
It's
o'clock
like,
at night.
yeah,
We're still seeing light.
even
Yeah.
on our cameras, you're seeing the horizon still lit up around 10 o'clock, and I'm going, this is not right. And if I'm up till like 3 or 3:30, not being able to sleep, and I'll change the camera to the east, you see the sunset or sunrise around 3:30 or 4 o'clock, and I'm going, that's too early. So if you're seeing it at 10 o'clock at night in the west, close to 4 o'clock, that's only what, 5, 6 hours of pitch darkness? That's not making any sense.
Yeah. Actually, last night, I was telling my mom and my son, I was like, okay, it is way too bright outside, even for a
Mhm.
full moon. Okay, it was raining outside, even with it, and it wasn't a full moon last night, but it was bright, and it was so bright. At 11 o'clock at night, I thought it was like 9. I
Mhm.
thought the sun had just gone down. Okay, because I get stuck in like time warps when I'm researching and getting ready for my shows and stuff, and
Right.
uh, and last night I guess I had just gotten back from Florida, and I was so confused because it was so late, but yet it was still light outside. Okay, and I live in Georgia. It shouldn't be like that. Okay, and
Mhm.
it was too bright. I had my mom and my son go outside and look. Okay, like
Yeah.
But I mean, it's
look at the
happening all
stars.
over. It's not
Yeah,
only us in different regions of the US, but it's in other continents and other countries too.
Yeah, other people are noticing how late or how bright it is at night and then how bright it is early morning, and it's not making any sense.
Yeah, I've
So
seen that. Yeah, we live in Georgia. That's right. Amy, thank you for that super sticker. Thank you so much. That's so sweet of you. You know, I got to hang out with Amy in Florida with Amy's beautiful mother too. And what a blessing, man. Oh my gosh, it was such a blessing getting to meet you.
I saw a lot of pictures. I saw a lot of pictures from the conference, and it looked like everybody had a blast.
We did. We had a really good time. There was a great turnout, and we had, of course, the girl and her gong. Maureen was there. Maureen was the one who gave thank you for my earrings, Maureen. Maureen and her dog Gus are my moderators too. Okay. So yes, thank y'all so much. It was really awesome getting to see everybody hang out, and Jennifer Patterson, she's always in our chats too. And yeah, I'm trying to think who else. There's a whole lot of people that came to see me. It was humbling. Okay, it was like humbling to do that, because you know we are a big family, and we're here just, you know, like friends. And it's really odd because when you go to like places, just meet everybody in person, it's like we've known each other for years, but we've never met in person. Yeah.
Right. Yep. You have that common bond. I mean,
yeah.
Even experiencers, you know, could never know a person, but they know, okay, I have a connection with this person. They must have been abducted, or they've had an experience or something. I mean, that happens all the time with people.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Kirianne. Hey, Kirianne. She says the sun shifted from yellow to white on the 23rd of February, 2019.
Yeah, I've heard that too. And then about the pole shift, this is a question. All right, if we've possibly shifted, why is it that when I go outside, the North Star is still right there directly in front of me? So if it shifted, don't you think the constellations would have changed?
Yeah.
Because we've been here 20 years, and I sit in the backyard and I look straight up, and the North Star it hasn't moved. So, I mean, yeah, I understand about the pole shifting too, but then the stars would move too. You know, it would change it. So I don't know what's going on with the world. The Earth is changing.
Yeah. Okay, this is an interesting comment from Scott Ian. Okay, there was that hole in the Georgia Guidestones. Okay, now I saw this personally. I've been there. I went there before they got destroyed. There was that hole in the Georgia Guidestones that was centered on Polaris 365 days of the year. Should be impossible on a rotating globe. I don't know. What do y'all think about that?
Absolutely. The same thing with
13 months.
Same thing with the guy that made the Coral Castle, Ed. He had one of his with a hole in it and another peeping hole that you could go through, and it lined up with the North Star. Every night, same time, you know, same time of the seasons. And the same thing with Stonehenge. They had the same thing where they had certain things in alignment for the solstice, and you know, and all this, and it never changed from year to year. It was always right on spot.
Oh, okay. So my son was mentioning the Truman Show today. Okay, and what if the sky is a movie screen and it's a projection? Okay, I know that sounds so weird. Where people are arguing about flat Earth and round Earth. What if it's all a simulation? It's all a projection, and we're like in the Truman Show. Too.
Well, if we're living in the Matrix right now, we must not be running CrowdStrike.
There's a glitch in the Matrix.
Well, look at the Hunger Games. The Hunger Games, she shot her arrow up there and broke the sky.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Somebody's asking about the Georgia Guide. The Georgia Guidestones were not struck by lightning. They were bombed. I think it was like an explosion. Yeah, that was explosives.
Yeah, you can see that in the video.
Yeah. So Andrew, it wasn't lightning, but it was an explosion. And I was up there like it was not even a month before that happened. We were up there researching. Wow. We were investigating some Bigfoot sightings at a state park right there. A bunch of them. So
wow.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, this has been fantastic. I mean, this is a great place to kind of wind the show down and kind of get some final thoughts on all this, because this has been a lot of fun tonight. And I love talking about this. I just like looking into hidden history.
Yeah.
Hidden history. This is not so hidden, really, because it's right there in our faces. It's maps. It's almost like we just have to wake up to it. Okay, like this is actually real. It's not a joke. It's not a
somebody
joke.
drew those with imagination. They had a crazy imagination.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean,
Crazy.
sometimes history isn't hidden, it's just forgotten, or it's just became dormant. We don't think about it no more until it's brought out again, just like this map we talked about. It we wouldn't probably be talking about if somebody didn't put it together and make that map and make it public for everybody after 450 years or whatever it was.
Yeah. Well, it's here now, and we're showing it, and I'll pull it up one more time for anybody who got in late. We probably have a lot of people who came in late today, and so this is the map from 1589, and it is called Monte'S Planisphere, 1587, and this is the map. It'll be on my social media if you guys want to go see it, but go check it out. It's a 10-foot, by 10-foot piece of art, basically. So it's gigantic, but it pretty much covers the entire Earth from the 1500s.
Yep.
Back before they had rocket ships and NASA, to take pictures. So I don't know. Do you guys have any final thoughts on it? Like this has been awesome. Great discussion.
It's just like we said, none of us are experts. We just have our opinions, or we like other people's theories or whatever. We just like to tell everybody, open your mind. Don't poo-poo everything right off the bat because you don't want to believe in something or it might rock your world, because it changes people's realities when you start seeing this stuff. But just keep an open mind, and if something resonates with you, then maybe take a closer look and maybe adapt that into your whole picture. Just think of your picture as a jigsaw puzzle, and you find that one piece that fits just perfect. And maybe that's all you need is just that one piece out of that story. And maybe somebody else's experience, you need a little section off of that. And just whatever makes sense to you and whatever you believe, that's up to you. We're just out here saying this is what we found, whether it was a rabbit hole or like this was an authentic map that we found and we wanted to discuss.
Oh, yeah. Amazing. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you 100%. And we gotta look at things from different perspectives and keep an open mind always. Now, you guys have a couple of fantastic YouTube channels, and congratulations on your 1,000. I know you've gone way beyond that now, but you guys, your 1,000 subscribers the last time you guys have been on my show, and you're running live cams all the time of your farm, and so tell the audience about it, please.
You want to tell them about our channel, Jane? Go ahead.
All right. Yeah, we've got 8 different cameras. We don't show all 8, but we do try to change the cameras around back and forth, and sometimes we'll have the goat cam on, and during the day, we'll have the chickens and goats. We did have martins for a while, but they're pretty much all gone now, except for flying above. They don't come back to the houses now. But then at night, you can check out strange things. We don't, there is bats and bugs, but we do have things that look like orbs and skyfish. We don't know what these rod things are. We just got a lot of strangeness on the camera. So yeah, you can just go and just check it out 24/7. And then on Wednesday nights, late at night, usually 10 o'clock Central is our Night Owl Lounge. Then we just kind of hang out and chat and just have fun. And we might have a discussion. We may just talk about food or one-line dad jokes. I mean, we don't know what happens on that.
Whatever chat wants to talk about, that's usually what we do. Although last time we were on there and we talked about the solar or lunar calendar, the 13 months.
And then Sunday nights at 6 Central is when we have our interviews with the guests. And then this Sunday, we've got Science Bob and Lala Bright.
Oh, I love them.
And we're going to be talking about their orbs and their
orbs
fish videos that they have.
Yeah, they're getting rods and skyfish and orbs just like us. And we don't know what they are, but it sure is interesting.
Oh my gosh. Speaking of the 13 months, we mentioned Turtle Island earlier. And the turtle has the 13 circles on its back, right on its shell.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And the indigenous people, would use that as like a calendar, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So the very center has 13 sections, and that would be for each super moon or full moon in the center. Then the outside edges have 28. And if you have a 13-month calendar, then you have 28 days in each month.
Yeah. Yeah, and some there's a conspiracy, and conspiracies are all real in my book, not all of them, but that says that like we were taken off that 13-month, cycle to mess up the rhythms of our natural energy flows in our bodies and stuff.
Right.
So our sleep patterns and just our energy patterns. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. Back to it.
Because we brought that up, me and Jane, on our Night Owl Lounge when we were talking about the lunar calendar. The women's body especially aligns with 28 days, and it might not be perfect for everybody because everybody's body is different, but at one time it lined up with 28 days for your cycles.
Yeah. Yeah, sure did. Yeah. Well, it's almost like, it could be to put a wrench in our engines, okay, as far as energetically as we go, and the rise of the divine feminine and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of stuff to think about, but I think it's all connected. So yeah, that's right. The accurate calendar is on the back of a turtle. And so I just had to bring that up because we did talk about Turtle Island in the very beginning of the show. Yeah. And and Jane, you also have another channel where you do your beautiful music. It's called Chiro Sounds. And
yep, I run Chiro Sounds, that I've got a wide range of instruments that you can see behind me. I've got tongue drums, hand pans. I play keyboard, guitar. There's Native American flutes, Native American drums. I've got hammer, dulcimer. I mean, I've got all kinds of instruments. So that's what my channel is. And then I also am Mrs. Midwest, and Geryl and I do Midwest Night Watchers together.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So many outlets you guys can find Jane and Geryl. So you guys please go check out the music, check out the cams, check out the shows. And your next show will be what, tomorrow? You guys have a show tomorrow and then Monday night.
Yep. Then Monday night after our show, Sunday at 6 p.m. on Midwest Night Watchers, I'm on Hunting the Shadows of Dennis Carroll, a great friend of yours and ours also. And we're doing a podcast on the road less travel, kind of talking about the stuff we're talking about tonight, the stuff that nobody really talks about anymore or even brings up. So that's what me and Dennis is trying to bring out and talk about.
Yeah, you guys are doing a great job. Dennis has been in the chat tonight, so thanks to Dennis for being here too. And I got Susan. I want to thank Susan so much for that super sticker. Thank you. Conspiracy therapy, yes. Turtle Island. That would be a great thing to do, like a remote video target on too, I think. So Susan, thank you so much. And I know she had gifted some channel memberships at some point. Y'all did some too at some point. So thank y'all so much for doing that. The channel memberships, that really helps the channel, and I do have special videos that I make for my channel members and stuff. So you guys become a channel member too. And thank you, Susan, for that. I appreciate it. And Geryl and Jane, thank y'all so much for being here. I hope y'all will come back and hang out with me again.
Oh, we got a lot more stuff to talk about if we want to do more shows. We got the Grand Canyon, more evidence on that, and we got another map that was brought up tonight that I was already discussing with you, a map, the ultimate map of sea creatures, and it's from the 1500s also.
Oh, wow.
Well, I'm always down for some sea creatures now that I'm not in Florida anymore. Yeah, we'll do it. We'll definitely do it. I actually would really like to look more into ancient Egypt in America. Okay, so that's one of my favorite topics to really dig into right now. So yeah, we'll do it, man.
All right. Anytime you want to let us know, we'll come back. We'd love to.
Okay, perfect. We'll do it. We'll plan on it. And so everybody, please come back and see me. I'll be at Spaced Out Radio tomorrow night. Same time as tonight, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 Central. Y'all come see me over on Spaced Out Radio. And I believe Rob G will be in there. I think he may be having a show right now at Spaced Out Radio. So you guys go over there after we get done tonight and go hang out at Spaced Out Radio. Okay, but Geryl and Jane, thank you all again so much for being here. It's always so much fun having y'all
No,
here.
thank you.
We had a blast.
Sure.
Thanks for having us.
For sure. Y'all go over there and subscribe to Midwest Night Watchers and Chiro Sounds. All right. All right, y'all. Well, have a great night. And I will see you guys back tomorrow night on Spaced Out Radio. And thanks to everybody who was at that conference, everybody that I met, all my new friends and my old friends, for being there. And yes, I hope everybody got home safe and sound. All right. I'm sending all my love to everybody, and to Jane and Geryl. Thank y'all again. And I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye, y'all.